gramática. Los adjetivos posesivos. Possessive adjectives, we already know, modify nouns to show relationships or possession. You know the short forms, right? The ones we place before a noun. Me, tú, su, etc. But they also have long forms which agree in gender and number with the nouns they describe. And these long forms follow the noun for emphasis or are used without a noun as a pronoun. So if you want to emphasize that someone is your friend, Juan es un amigo mío. Y también suyo. Juan is a friend of mine and also of his. Right? Notice that in English we also have that option of placing those possessive those possessives after the noun, right? We use a different construction, but we have that option to place emphasis on the possessor. ¿Sí? Muy bien. The next example. ¿Ese libro es suyo? Is that book yours? De ustedes, right? Suyo, de ustedes. Sí, es nuestro. Yes, it's ours. Muy bien. And notice that nuestro, for example, looks very familiar, right? Because it's the same short and long form. It's going to be the same form whether you place it before the noun or after the noun. Same thing with vuestro, vuestra, for vosotros, right? Muy bien. So let's take a look at the forms that change. Notice me. Me is the one we place before the noun. Mi amiga, mis amigos, mío, mía, míos, mías is the one that we place after the noun, the long form. La amiga mía, los amigos míos. And remember, we can also use it as a pronoun, right? When little children want to say that it's mine, mine, right? In Spanish, esto es mío, 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 mío. ¿Sí? Muy bien. Tú is the short form to indicate your, when it's informal, when it's singular. Tu guitarra, tus libros. Tuyo is the long form. Tuya, tuyos, tuyas. La guitarra tuya. No la mía, right? Not mine. La guitarra tuya. The guitar of yours. ¿Sí? Los libros tuyos. Then the short form su, sus, su casa, sus zapatos. Remember, it could be your, his, hers, its, right? In the long form, is going to be suyo, suya, suyos, suyas. And same thing, it could be yours when you're talking to a singular person. It could be his, it could be hers, or it could be its. La casa suya, los zapatos suyos. Nuestro, same form. It's just going to change the placement and we're going to add that article before the noun, right? Because now we don't have the possessive. El auto nuestro, las mesas nuestras. Same for vuestro, vuestra, vuestros, vuestras. Let's just take a look at the long forms. La amiga vuestra, the friend of yours, los carros vuestros, the cars of yours. And then remember, same way that third person, singular and plural, share short forms, they share the long forms as well. La amiga suya, therefore, could be of yours, plural, or of theirs. Los amigos suyos could be of yours or of theirs. Gramática, los comparativos y superlativos. And this is very similar to English as well. So for comparatives, remember we compare two persons, two things. We can compare them using adjectives to compare qualities, or we can use a noun to compare quantities, right? Same thing as in English. When we use a noun or an adjective, that noun or adjective is going to go after más, menos, or tan. See? For comparisons where one is superior, más, adjective, noun, que. For comparisons where one is inferior, menos, noun, adjective, que. And for comparisons of equality where both are the same, tan, adjective, or noun, como. Let's look at some examples. Lorena es más generosa que yo. Lorena is more generous than I am. Tengo menos dinero que Tania. I have less money than Tania. And equality. Víctor es tan tímido como Sonia. Victor is as shy as Sonia. Now, when we use that tan for nouns or quantities, it is going to change to agree with the noun. So it's going to be tanto, tanta, tantos, tantas. Tienes tantas opiniones como yo. You have as many opinions as I do. What happens when the comparison is not using adjectives or nouns? When a comparison does not involve qualities or quantities, then we don't need the space in between más, menos, tanto, and que or como. ¿Sí? Me gusta leer más que escribir. I like to read more than write. Francisca juega al fútbol menos que al tenis. Francisca plays soccer less than tennis. Viajo tanto como tú. I travel as much as you do. And what would be a Spanish without some irregular forms, right? So these forms are irregular and they already have that más included, right? Mayor would be older. Menor would be younger. Mejor would be better. Peor would be worse. Notice that some of these are also irregular in English, right? Remember, many times those things that we use a lot in a language become irregular in more than one language. So let's take a look at our example. Mis hermanos son menores que yo. My brothers or siblings are younger than I am. Superlatives, easy as well. Okay, they are very similar to English. When we want to say that something has the most or the least of a certain quality, we're going to use the definite article with más or menos. And notice it's the same structure in English, right? The most, the least. Now, the difference is that in Spanish we're going to use de, okay, to indicate the group out of which is the most or the least. Let's take a look at the example. Estos pájaros son los más bellos de la tienda. These birds are the prettiest in the store. So usually in English, we're going to see in a group. In Spanish is de un grupo. When the noun is part of the superlative phrase, place it between the article and the superlative word. Eres la persona menos tímida que conozco. You are the least shy person I know. Remember, usually we have the noun before the adjective in Spanish. So that's why we're going to place that noun before the adjective and before the superlative. See? Muy bien. When you refer to an idea or concept, right, we're not talking about qualities, adjectives, or quantities, nouns. Usually it's going to be with a verb. See? We're going to use the neuter article lo. Lo más importante es estudiar. The most important thing is to study. See, do you remember esto, eso, that gave us a neuter gender? This is our neuter gender for articles, but we only use it when it refers to ideas or concepts. See? Use the regular forms you learn with comparatives when referring to the best, worst, oldest, and youngest. The difference is going to be that we're going to add the article, right? El mejor, la peor, los mayores, las menores. Mis botas son buenas, pero tus botas son las mejores. My boots are good, but your boots are the best.